All right, let's get started. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this webinar with Quuppa alongside Tieto Every. This webinar is called Empathic Building, but back to the office safely with the help of a digital twin. My name is Jesse Parnanen. I'm the marketing designer here at Quuppa. I'll be facilitating this discussion today. Also on the line with me, we have Thomas Hasselman, who is the Chief Marketing Officer here at Quuppa, as well as Gunnar Hansen, who heads up the Empathic Building, and also Domi Dagon, who is also the founder and head of Empathic Building at Tieto Every. Just before we get started, a little bit of housekeeping. If you do have any questions at all during the webinar, in the GoToWebinar platform, you can see a questions tab and you can ask any questions throughout the webinar. And then we will also have a short Q&A at the end, depending on how we are doing for time. So let's get started. Thomas, are you online?
Yes, I am.
All right, perfect. Did you want to take it away with the agenda and rough introduction?
Sure, yes. So hi, everyone, on my behalf as well. My name is Thomas, as Jesse already introduced, and I'll start with the agenda, walk through, and then a brief intro on Quuppa before I hand over to Tommy and Gunnar. So we'll hear today about, we spend most of the time on the actual empathic building, what it does, who it does it for, and we're going to focus more on how it enables a safer return back to work, considering the COVID-19 restrictions and regulations that are being put into place in many industries, not only in the office environments but also in others. And Tommy and Gunnar will then walk through the features of their platform, give some examples from use cases, real life use cases, and also flip over every now and then to the real thing, so to the real empathic building application, and show how things are being done in practice. So without further ado, I will just go to the next slide, which introduces a bit Quuppa. We are a company specialized in accurate positioning, and it's an accurate positioning that mostly done indoors. So we don't rely on the signal of the satellites as in GPS. We're an 8-year-old company, so still reasonably young, but the roots of the offering today comes back already from the early 2000s, when the founding members were working at the Nokia Research Center, starting to develop what today is Quuppa. We have offices, in addition to the one in Helsinki or in Espoo, we have offices in the US, in Washington, D.C. Offices are also in China, Shanghai, Shenzhen, and Beijing, and then smaller satellite offices in Sydney, Mumbai, and in Dubai. Our customer base is ever increasing, and probably the 500 plus is more like 600 plus nowadays. But most important for us are really our business partners, the ones that will build on top of our technology the actual solutions, where you will today see one of those, which is Tieto and their empathic building. In addition to software providers and system integrators, we're also working closely with a lot of hardware vendors, more specifically tag vendors. And our presence, though we have only offices in a handful of countries, our system has been deployed in more than 50 countries today. Some of the actual achievements that we are very proud about: the third year in a row being part of the Magic Quadrant, in Gartner Magic Quadrant in the indoor location services study, and this year we were sort of seen as a visionary in that domain. So very happy about that. The Quuppa innovation is an ongoing thing, and last year we launched the next generation of what we call the locators. So the hardware that you are actually installing in the premises where accurate positioning is to take place. And alongside that, we introduced the subscription business model for our partners to be better equipped to manage a lot of the industries where a subscription way of ordering and buying is a common thing. The most challenging environment where Quuppa's technology is used is in sports, and evidence of the performance of our system, the accuracy, the real-time, low latency of our system can be seen by the solutions provided by Wise Hockey, another partner of ours, who recently won the whole nation leagues in both Finland and in Russia. So the Premier Leagues in these two countries have been played for the whole season using Quuppa as the powering solution, powering sort of a positioning technology, and then Bitwise's application running on top of it. We're working also close with the standard. So the Bluetooth standard has been a close alliance for us for years. I mean, already back in the early 2000s, we were there writing the first draft of what today is the Bluetooth 5.1 standard, which includes the angle of arrival and angle of departure definitions or methodologies. And more recently, well, it's more than a year ago, we have joined hands with a lot of semiconductor partners, Nordic Semiconductor being one of them, and Silicon Labs, a more recent one, helping float the market with the Quuppa compatible Bluetooth silicon chips that are then materialized in tags and sensors that can be tracked. Now, in the next slide, I'm going to take you back to where it all started. And I won't say that our founders took credit of this because they weren't even born at that time. But during First World War, we already experienced something called direction finding. So meaning being able to identify an object based on the direction from where the signal came from. In this context, it was the noise, the audio that we were tracking, or that was tracked. Enemy planes approaching were spotted quicker by using a direction finding methodology by having directional antennas like these. And what we have done since is taking that audio, that analog world, and turned it digital. And in the next slide, it's just a summary of our technology offering. So we do this same thing that you saw in the previous slide, using standard Bluetooth radio. We're using the direction finding methodology that's been defined by the Bluetooth standard, the basis of it, and then we have added our own advanced algorithms, which are part of the positioning engine, and tools, a suite of tools that are there for our partners to use when planning, deploying, and maintaining the Quuppa systems and configuring, for example, the tags. So that's our piece of the puzzle. The picture shows more a technical illustration of how the locators are actually measuring the angles from where the signal is coming from the tag in terms of azimuth and elevation angles. And based on that information, we can determine and depict down to 10 centimeter level where an object is. So the accuracy is there. We usually talk about sub-meter accuracy because that's a typical requirement in many industries, but in sports it can be really down to centimeters. The versatility comes into play as it's Bluetooth based, so we can track smartphones with the same accuracy that we track the tags. And the scalability is something you will see during the presentation today and hear more about how you can take this solution to large office environments and for example, as in Bitwise, to tens of sports arenas around the world. And the openness is a must in whatever we do, because that's the way we serve our 170 plus business partners that are really building the actual solutions. So with that said, I think we are ready to move to the actual beef of today. I'm happy to introduce Tietoevry, a long-time partner of Quuppa. I think we signed the partnership agreement in September 2016. Tieto had been working on our technology already before that, but ever since we've seen success after success. And I will let now Tomi Teikko and Gunnar Hansen talk more about the recent achievements. Thank you on my behalf.
Thank you. Very nice to be, and I'm presenting this thing. My name is Tomi Teikko, and I will start, and during my presentation, I will also invite my colleague from Norway to join me to to take you virtually to one of our recent customer implementations and show how they welcome people back to the office. Tieto, very shortly about Tieto Every Corporation. We are a large ICT service provider in Nordics, but delivering customers globally. We have 24,000 employees, but Empathic Building itself, which I'm one of the original founders, is an internal startup created roughly four years ago and been commercializing the solution since. And we have 52 installations in 12 countries. So, and we aim to be global. And no matter how bad the COVID situation is for most of the businesses, we must say that there is a huge demand of digital twin now because of this COVID thing, and companies want to provide safe way to come back to the office. And I will now show you several ways that you can introduce the digital twin. You can do it very light way, or you can do it all full in with social distancing using, for example, Quuppa indoor positioning. But I come back to that later on. But I will go through all these different ways that you can introduce digital twin and how it can help you. But before going to the actual use cases, few words about empathic building. What it means to be empathic in a built environment perspective. We believe that digital technology should provide best possible employee experience, and to make that happen, you need to understand how people feel. And my prediction is that future applications and user interfaces will be more empathic, meaning that they understand real employee experience and how people feel, and based on that data, they are adjusting the user interface and the user experience. That means to be empathic in an application environments. So empathic building among with the physical space and the work culture with our existing customers, we deliver best possible employee experience, and we will now today concentrate to the safety part of the employee well-being and happiness because of the current COVID situation, and quite many organizations are thinking to invite people back to the office from remote work. As a small additional detail, Tieto Every 24,000 employees, our remote work percent is currently 96. So only 4% of our employees are currently utilizing our office space. And you can imagine that what type of pressure there is for CFO having these 25 years old long lease agreements to start inviting people back to the office and utilize the investment that every corporation has done. And it is of course highly crucial that we do it safe way, that those offices and corporate headquarters and all these campuses, they are not going to be the place where you get COVID infections, instead of just providing them as a platform of collaboration and collaboration. So empathic building is a tool which creates the digital copy of the environment, and it shows the data which is typically normally hidden inside of databases and silos. Here are very practical examples of the use cases. So you can use empathic building, for example, to select the room without booking it. We can visualize the environmental data. We can have all the data needed for you to safely, as an example, to select the desk at the workplace you are going to work. And also we have a later on, we will tell more about Quuppa and indoor positioning and the ways that we can share our location, our thinking, our documents, and so on with the real-time indoor positioning data. But let's start with the safe way of selecting a desk, which is like a low-hanging fruit when talking about the safe way of returning to the office. And we will show 3 different type of practical examples. How to find or book your desk. You can do it very simple way, just visualizing the desks. For example, if you create a COVID period of time, a policy that you are not allowed to use all the desk, but every second of the desk, or 50% or 30% or 20% of the existing desk and office capacity, you can easily do it with empathic building visualization tool. And let's visit to our office. So this is not a demo. This is our own campus in Finland. And here you can see the empathic building and the digital copy of the environment. So empathic building can visualize your own office or your campus, no matter if you have a 1 floor, several floors, or even multiple buildings. And here, as an example, we can show the power of digital twin. So I can even actually see, hey, actually there is my customer. I can see this Ville. He's an owner of the workplace services in Tietoevry. I can see him through walls. Actually, I'm now in my home office, but I can clearly see that Ville is sharing his location. So this is the power of creating the digital twin. So you can even start without implementing indoor positioning, which of course brings you an added value, because I can real time see that where Will is and what he is sharing and so on. But you can start your digital only visualizing. Let's say that you select half of the desks that you are not allowed to use. And of course, you can have all the information related to your additional policies or safe return to the office. This is the typical information hidden inside of the intranet, SharePoint or other intranet services, but you can make it visible for all the end users while they are entering into the office, which makes the data findable. So this is the very practical first way how you can start using the digital twin and select the desk safely. Let's have another example. You can enable room desk booking. That's very popular now, and there is every day another company asking this kind of desk booking possibility. It means that on behalf of end users, there is no HR or facility saying that, okay, now Tommy, you should use this desk num ID B something and use there. Instead of that, giving a better end user experience by giving the possibility for the end user to select the desk, for example, based on how many screens there are, but just enabling the desk booking, you click the desk and you book it instantly or for next week or so on. So you can have this like a booking functionality enabled to all the desks. So this is very popular way now to enable the end user experience by giving the end user the possibility to select the desk they want to use, giving this freedom instead of having this admin work that someone is telling you where you should sit, and keeping the freedom the end users to select. And now when I did the booking, now you can see that it also changes the visualization so that this desk is now booked for the end user. And you can make a decision, do you want to show the name of the person, or are you going to allow the end users, for example, to check in, like I was now doing manual checking to this like a table group here, and share this information to my like colleagues. Then there is a possibility we can automate this thing. So the next level of having like a desk booking done, totally automated, then we are installing the movement sensor under the table, like you can see here in the picture. There is a one Finnish company innovation, quite handy wireless occupancy sensor under the table, and what that does is that it automatically changes the status of the desk occupied, which currently is being used, and we identify that as a red color. And now you are wondering, what is this pink color? It actually means that this desk has been used today but not currently. So our clean and safe policy is in our own campus that we visualize the desk currently being used and which has been used today, so that people, when arriving into the office, they can instantly see all the blue ones, so-called safe desks. And then after every day, because these all are shareable desks, they are disinfected by ISS, our service and cleaning operator. So with the sensor, you can totally automate also this like a desk booking functionality, and you don't need to have a separate booking functionality. You just use the desk and you define the time that this desk will be occupied and be marked as a used or have been used, for example, during the same office day. But I promised you, first of all, I promised to introduce my colleague from Norway, Gunnar. Hope, Gunnar, you are online. If you can say something that I can hear, you are alive.
Hello, Tommy, I'm alive.
Hello, Gunnar.
Yeah.
I would
Hi.
like to now give this screen sharing for you, and you can please introduce virtually our new installation in Stavanger, Norway, Subsea 7, which has been utilizing the digital twin for safe return to the office.
So thank you very much. Do you see my now?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see now. I think you should see my screen.
Yes, we can see it.
Okay.
Perfect.
So first of all, welcome everybody, and especially warm welcome to Subsea 7 people looking at this now. I'm located in, my name is Gunnar Hansen. I'm located in Stavanger, southwest coast of Norway, the oil capital of Norway, and where we have introduced this digital twin for Subsea 7's main office in Stavanger. So we thank you very much for the trust for this delivery, and I would take a short introduction to this facility. So first of all, this is based on a gaming platform actually. So I've checked in manually here, and I want to take you a short walk through the environment here. So as you can see, you are able to run around, even jump if you want to do that. So let us take a trip to the cantina area. Let me see. So here is the canteen, and this is the place where we wanted to investigate with sensors. This was actually being done because this is actually a 24,000 square meter big office, and I think that our customer here was quite impressed about the speed. We made the digital twin out of the office in 3 days. Of course, the drawings were good, and thank you to Hans Olavsen for the drawings. This is, of course, the foundation on everything. So we made the model, and we onboarded this one quite fast. So in this particular case, they wanted to spread out, first of all, the people. They actually gave them, in this case, let me see, sorry. They actually gave them dedicated desks here. So we just imported all the names, and the names are searchable. So for instance, Hans Olavsen, the facility manager, he is located here. They also wanted us to help them with providing information to all the meeting rooms. And the good thing here is that we actually want the customer to take ownership to the data, so they have done a lot of the work themselves. So for instance, in this meeting room, they have put some information about the meeting room restrictions and everything. So they have done those themselves. Also, these sensors under the desks in the cantina worked out of the box. We provided the sensors, so we are able to actually ship them. We don't need to travel. They put them under the desks, powered it up, and they worked. One funny thing here about this canteen area is just a small detail, but I think it's quite funny because now the desk utilization is becoming more and more important. So if we want to see in a particular date scale how the desks has been utilized in the cantina, here we can see proof that the Subsea 7 people are a bit lazy, especially during lunchtime, because the food is here, and the most popular desks are, of course, closest to the food. But this functionality can also be used if you want to have sensors under the desks in the whole office area to see how much is the desks actually used. We can actually see also the utilization percentage. Okay, sorry, I pressed the wrong one. Desk utilization like this. So now I can see that 11.8% utilization of these desks when it has been used, etc., etc. One of the things about this cantina area is that they have a really big office environment. In Norway now, we are not allowed to have more than 50 persons in the canteen in the same room at the same time. So they wanted to give all the employees access to the system to be able to see when the cantina is full or not, so they don't get a lot of people outside here waiting for lunch. And this is a good functionality. Then facility management didn't have to like make time slots for every employee and when they were supposed to go to lunch or not. So I think they saved a lot of time on this. We've also just started a journey on introducing like temperature sensors. Here we see the actual temperature trending inside the cantina. And the facility management here is wants a lot to happen. So for instance, they wanted to make a small functionality about where are the heart starters in the building. See, there are 2 heart starters. One of them is here. And how do you use it? This is in the main building, first floor. We have another one in second floor in the campus building. So this is quite useful. So facility management have just started to provide more and more information, like a single point of information for all employees. So yeah, so this was a short explanation about the system, which is quite helpful, I think, for Subsea 7, and I think it looks really good as well. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Gunnar. And yeah, I'm eagerly waiting that my next trip to Stavanger so that I can physically visit there, as I have now been visiting there several times together with Gunnar, but digitally. So eagerly waiting my real visit there and see how the office actually looks like. Thanks a lot, Gunnar, and thanks for Subsea 7 to trusting our digital twin and our empathic building service, and happy to have you as our customer. All right, now let's go into the area where at least I can imagine that Quuppa has been waiting. That now, guys, go with the indoor positioning. Yes, this is exactly where we are going now. So there is now fourth possibility to enable safe return to the office. All these functionalities were more or less related to the desks and sensors attached to desks or processes attached to different work areas. But you can go beyond. You can go indoor positioning. And with the indoor positioning in office environments, it's a tool for you as an employee to share your whereabouts, that your people can find you or your projects or your documents. You can share your competencies, you can share your thoughts, and of course we can run different type of applications related to that. We can enable not only that you can share your location, we can enable asset tracking, we can enable things like social distancing. And let me show how it works. Like Quuppa already introduced it, we have been working together with Quuppa several years, and it has been a really nice years to work with them, because the thing what Quuppa does, it delivers. It delivers the accuracy of that basically we have not seen in other solutions yet on the market. This person here is a raw data from Quuppa server, and so we are just visualizing where the person is. Here is another person now here utilizing this desk, one person utilizing this desk. And if it might sound so that this or feel that Helena is not actually using that certain desk, it's not necessarily the problem of Quuppa accuracy, but that this desk is not physically installed into the correct position on the floor plan where it has been originally designed by architect or interior design. So Quuppa really delivers really accurate indoor positioning. So once more, we don't, when we are sharing, these persons are sharing their location, we don't modify the data. We can enable real-time data visualization from raw Quuppa data because it is so accurate. And now, as this is so accurate, what we can do is that, let's see, do we have any social distancing here? Or I think people are currently, so this is not any demo. This is our real our own campus. Let's see if people are working in only safe distance. They do actually. All right, so I will destroy that feeling now a little bit. I will do like a virtual check-in. This here is one of my colleagues called Olli working here, and what I will do is that I will now checking too close to Olli, and as you can see, we highlight the social distancing security warning that now this guy is too close. Maybe I should go move away and not having this kind of social distancing warning. So this is a very like a practical example what you can do with accurate indoor positioning. And what of course also what you can do is that later on you can run different type of reports based on, now we only have one color here because we only have employees allowed to work in this area. But if I have like different profiles like externals, visitors, and so on, or assets, I could visualize then different colors to this this heat map. But what I can show you here is that our system, based on the position of these people, we can then draw a different type of heat maps and visualization of the areas being used by the selected dates and times by the end users. Yes, this looks really empty. Yep, and I must admit it is. Like said, only 3 to 4% utilization currently in our office. So this data is not necessarily really beautiful, as you can say. But let's go the time period before COVID. So let's have a 1 month, November 2019, when we were happily working without knowing this kind of COVID thing will happen. And let's see how this Quuppa data report now looks like. Yeah, clearly we can see more users on the office and with the Quuppa accurate data, we can, like here we have a meeting room, we can even go into the details of which chairs are more popular in this meeting room using accurate information and analytics of these data reports. Yeah, this is before COVID time, and this what you can use, of course, is that you have this kind of design that you have done your interior design. Now we can, for example, confirm that, for example, is these design chairs really used? As from this data, we can clearly see that they are not really popular. I wonder why. Are they just design, or they are not really nice to use, and so on. So with this accurate data, you can really have make good reports. Is the interior design, are you really using and utilizing the desk office space as they have been designed to be used? What also we can provide that from empathic building visualization, we can even show people flow. So unfortunately there is not big flow currently ongoing, but we can see some areas where there are more people highlighted with the blue color, so that you can then for example, based on or you can invite the elevators where the people are using more, and different type of use cases related to the real-time location of assets and people. And when you have this kind of data available, you can have different kind of searches. That do we happen to have a what type of competence we have there available the office and share your own like a digital twin about your sales team or your Instagram photos or your LinkedIn profile. All right. That was my short introduction to the social distancing and very powerful and accurate indoor positioning solution done by Quuppa, and how we are using it in office environments and our upcoming different hospital solutions and factories and event arenas that we are currently working with to use also empathic building visualization and accurate indoor positioning by Quuppa.
Okay, thank you very much. I will just
Thank
switch
you.
over to here. There we go. All right. Yes, thank you very much. Very enlightening, and it's great to see some solutions helping us to actually get back to the offices. So, like I said, just at the beginning of this webinar, if you do have any questions at all, we're going to have a Q&A now. I can see some questions coming in now, so we can. I'll give you a few minutes to type your questions in, but let's have a look at what has come through so far. And Thomas, if you're online as well, I think some of these will be directed more at Quuppa and some towards Theodore as well. But one of them is the sensor used to sense if the desk has been used. Is that manufactured or sold by Quuppa? Thomas, did you want to take that?
Well, no, it's not. It's a complementary sensor that I believe, Tommy, you know who's up. You can probably confirm the manufacturer of that.
Yeah, manufacturer of those wireless sensors used, for example, in our campus and in few of our customers. They are done by Haltian, Finnish, also Nokia spin-off company. They have this Thingsy brand, and those can be utilized. But from the empathic building perspective, the data can be collected from building automation or other occupancy sensors. And of course, with Quuppa indoor positioning accuracy, if you are tagging, for example, all the employees, you need to remember that sharing your identity and make yourself visible is always a volunteer stuff because of rules and regulations we have, like GDPR and other rules related to when you are employed by the company. There are several things, but you can still have a tag on your ID pads without sharing your identity. And using Quuppa accurate indoor positioning, we actually can get this desk occupancy information also. So you don't necessarily need separate sensors for, but then you need to roll out the indoor positioning like a secure and safe way, remembering people's privacy things. It's the same thing with the occupancy sensor. You cannot attach occupancy sensor onto the table of dedicated desks who are named for the person, because then again it tends to be private information, private data instead of anonymous data.
Yeah, sure. And this kind of flows nicely into the next question as well, which is, does Theodore use tags or employees' smartphones to be able to track them around the building? What's the case there?
Theodore employees are using Quuppa tags, so it's very convenient. You just carry the tag on your pocket, and you don't need to have a separate application on your mobile phone running your battery. And we need to remember that some phone models, they tend to, because of the battery saving reasons, to kill all those background applications while they are sending the location. So if you want to have an accurate indoor positioning and very end user friendly way, we will strongly recommend to have tag based solutions. They are loved by end users, easy to carry, and you get the extra benefits like tag assets. It's not easy to have iPhone to every asset you want to track. So yeah, in Tieto and in our customer implementations like in Fortum and now newest installation with Telia, they are using Quuppa tag-based solution, which we recommend, definitely.
Good to hear. I've got another one here. The questions are coming in now. Is the server hosted locally or only cloud-based?
Thomas, do you want to? Yeah, we implement both. So
yeah, exactly.
With large installations, we recommend to have a on-premise Quuppa server because then the data is calculated. You can call it edge type. So calculation of the location then happens there, and our client, Empathic Building client in Quuppa server is then pushing the data to our visualization engine. But in a large installations, we recommend to have on-premise, but it can be a cloud server also if you have enough bandwidth or you have smaller satellite offices, or very typically used, for example, in co-working spaces where you have like 1,000 maximum 2,000 square meters, and talking about less than 100 same time people sharing their location. But Quuppa is flexible for both ways to implement.
Yes, exactly. Well said, Tommy.
All right, I've got another question here. I'm not sure which one this is for. I think this might be a little bit more Quuppa oriented. It says, can we integrate our solutions with your software's REST API to be able to deliver a global solution?
Yeah, with Quuppa, yeah, that we do. Actually, our client is using Quuppa API to take the data, positioning data and battery levels of tags and temperature information and other things we want to share, or pressing the button or different type of, all those are available through Quuppa server API where we did the integration, and of course Empathic Building can also has open APIs for having additional use cases or additional apps to share or pull or push the data.
Perfect. I've got one here. Maybe someone wasn't paying attention. It says, is this a real product that's launched or is it only a concept?
Yeah, it is real product in implementations in 12 countries already. So yes, we have been commercializing this already 4 years now. So we have a solid, big global customers like Fortum and Telia as one new to mention.
Yeah. Thomas, maybe one for you here. Do we need a 3D structural drawing to be able to implement the Quuppa solution?
No, we don't. I mean, a typical Quuppa deployment is done with on a 2D drawing, and as there is very seldom that you actually need a 3D. It's when you go into sports where you need to track the flight of the ball or the hockey puck, or where you go into certain logistics or warehousing environments where you need to position the actual height of where a pallet is, for example, stored. But in a office environments and in most other, being it the retail or healthcare, 2D is the norm.
Yeah, it's exactly the same thing with Empathic Building. We get the floor plan, and it can be a 2-dimensional PDF file, and using our own in-house made editor, 3D editor, we create the digital model. And like Gunnar already mentioned, this might be the fastest tool to create digital twin using just the PDF floor plan on scale currently on the market. So I cannot say it fastest, but let's say that one of the most cost efficient one.
I've got another one here. Will the employee get a notification in his mobile if he's not at a safe distance? So I think this is talking about that social distancing part of the application, so that obviously he can maintain the distance by himself.
Yes, that's the one of the features we can do, so to have notifications. Either when this certain person, if for example you want to find or hide your boss, you can enable or notifications when person is near, and of course now with the social distancing.
Okay, right. We've had quite a few come in regarding actual deployments. So it's generally, you know, how many Quuppa locators are required for a certain deployment. So let's take, for example, like 100 square meter deployment or something. How many Quuppa locators would need to be installed, and you know, how much time does it normally take to install them? I don't know who wants to take this one.
Well, with our experience now, more than 5 years implementing Quuppa locators, average is 1 locator per 30 square meters. That's very typical. But of course now it depends how accurate you want to go, how much you have, for example, complexity, complex office. You know, if you have huge amount of glass which is blocking the Bluetooth signal, if you have very low ceiling height, there is several ways. But let's say that our all time after several implementation, 30 square meters is quite accurately the per one locator. If you have a higher ceiling height, you can have less or wider space without anything blocking the Bluetooth signal, then less locators.
Yeah, that's exactly. So for office spaces and hospitals, that what Tommy said is typically applies as a rule of thumb for coverage. You go into retail, you typically can assume 100 square meter per locator, because the ceiling height and the installation height of the locator might be around 5 meters from the tracking objects. And then in warehousing environments, if it's an open logistical warehouse, then you can easily cover 300-400 square meters with the one locator. But again, it depends so much on the underlying environment. You got metal shelf and other metal objects, then more dense deployment is needed.
Yeah, and I think in relation to maybe density of deployment as well, I've got another question here. What levels of accuracy can be achieved in this type of like office or building environment? So I assume that's obviously Quuppa has the ability to go down to, you know, that centimeter level, but what is generally required?
Our typical requirement of our customers is half a meter between 1 meter with the current use cases. Of course, the accuracy now with the new use cases with the safety, they are popping up, where for example more detailed accuracy is sometimes needed, like in hospital environments. There are like are you cleaning your hands between the patients? There, of course, the accurate positioning that you are really using the hand dispenser device, more accurate positioning is needed. But very typical office use and learning environments, universities and schools, where you are more or less want to know where the documents, humans and other assets are, the half a meter is enough. And Quuppa can do that excellently.
Tommy, I believe one of the questions was still on the previous question on how long does it take for you to deploy a locator?
Yeah. Well, of course, if how you attach the locator to the ceiling, if that is easy, for example, it's a metal and you can use magnets, it's 2 to 5, maximum 5 minutes per locator. But now I need to give the like a disclaimer here. If your ceiling is 5 meters up and you need to use these human lifting devices or whatever time consuming material is really hard to penetrate or attach anything, then of course it takes more time. But the calibration of Quuppa with using Quuppa calibration tools, that's fast. Typically, it's something blocking the access on the construction site or something totally different than things related to the calibration or Quuppa or empathic building software. Like security audit access or different kind of security policies of accessing construction sites are more time consuming than actual implementations.
Sure. I'm going to try and I think we've maybe got time for one more question now. I'm going to try and merge two of them together. Something asking specifically about different types of the locators. Basically, can this type of system both work indoors and outdoors, or do you have to use the same product, or how would it work? Probably for Thomas, that one.
Yeah, I could start. Yeah, so Quuppa offers 2 types of locators. So one is for indoor use, and then we have one that is weatherproof, waterproof outdoor locator that is typically used then also in harsh environments, in for example warehouses that are indoors, but where the humidity and the dust might be a reason why you need to have the long range locator. So for the same, running on the same software, but they have different IP grading, these two type of locators.
Okay. All right, I think there is a couple more questions. If your question wasn't answered today, we will go through and make sure that that your question does get answered. We can see who's asked them here as well. Just wanted to let you guys know that everyone who registered for this webinar, we will make the recording of the webinar available as well as the slides. So we'll come out with some more information regarding that in the next couple of days for you. But I'd just like to say thank you for everyone, number one, who attended the webinar, and also Gunnar and Thomas and Domi for presenting. And yeah, thank you. And I guess I'll see you guys on the next one.
Thanks. This was fun. Eagerly waiting safe return to the office.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.